I'm glad that you like brought up Comey. You know what I mean? I feel like
people don't talk about him enough because he's so tall. What's he doing? Seeing plays and stuff, I bet.
Mm-hmm. Suffs or whatever it's called.
He's seeing suffs. I bet he's not seeing suffs because Hillary Clinton produced suffs.
Oh, right.
So now he
what
feels
if he is seeing it?
What is he going to do?
What if he's seeing it with a mask?
You can't. He's so annoying. Please welcome to the stage, killer lady from Lady Killer, the American cunt herself, Jenna Friedman. Hi. Good to see you.
I thought about pretending that American cunt was just like your nickname for me that I have nothing to do with, but it's actually a show. Did you tell them?
No, I just said the phrase, and I was going to hopefully get the context up to here now, but thank you for telling them.
So
you
nice
did a show called...
I did.
American...
American Cunt, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's so nice to see you. I'm sorry
No. Jenna went to the other theater.
To the wrong venue. Can I tell you about it? Because it's kind of funny.
Sure.
I showed up. It was there's a lot of Netflix as a joke signage. And I was like, that's really weird because this isn't a Netflix as a joke show. And so there was a huge line and I went in and they were like, stop, ma'am. And I was like, I'm on the show. And I go through, I see people I know, I'm saying hi. They're like, oh, we're so happy to have you. And then I go into the green room and I'm like looking around and like no one on the show is on that show. And it took me like a couple minutes. I saw Guy Branum and I was like, are you on, you're doing Love It or Leave It tonight? And he's like, no.
I mean, honestly, that is like, if you, there's like, oh, it must be here. Because Guy's here.
Yeah, because Guy's, and it's just, I don't know. I feel like I just need to live my life like I'm, like every venue I walk into, it's like a show I'm on, you know, but I wasn't on it.
My parents would say that I've been living that way since I was 5 years
That's
old.
Great.
So you have a new book coming out called Not Funny. In the book, you talk about cancel culture from the perspective of someone who was writing for the Roseanne reboot when she and her show got canceled. Was that at least kind of funny to experience?
Yeah, it happened my first day on the job. I was heading onto the lot at CBS Radford, so happy to have a job. And I'm looking at Twitter when it was still called that. And Roseanne tweeted that horrible thing. And I was like, oh, no. And then I was like, this show feels like this show's going to get canceled. It should. But then I was like, you know what? Wanda Sykes is in the room. Like, you know, if Wanda's still on the show, like, I'll feel better about that. And then, like, I get into the office and I look back at my phone and Wanda Sykes is no longer doing the show. And I was just like, this is awful. And so then we ended up, the show, like, it got canceled, like, the day that it started.
Didn't it live on for a while without her?
Well, they retooled it and called it The Conners, and it's still on. The Conners is still a show on ABC. Without her.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Huh. Mm-hmm. Learn something every day. So you also...
I'm not on it, but thanks for clapping. I'm not writing on it.
Lala, no talking. So speaking of things that were canceled.
Yeah.
You were actually set to host the Penn Awards this spring. The organization...
2 nights ago.
2 nights ago. It'd been 2 nights ago.
Yeah, whatever the 29th was.
Oh, wow.
Of April.
So it was just about to happen. The organization canceled the event because dozens of writers withdrew in protest. I went down a rabbit hole and came out the other side being even more confused about what happened. What happened?
So you can read about it because I don't... a lot of writers were upset with PEN America for their stance on the war in Gaza. Without getting into the fray of that, I personally, when they asked me to host, I was like, that's interesting because I've had Seth Meyers and Cal Penn host, and I was like, what's the catch? And I said yes right away, and then I looked at the news, and I was like, fuck. This is just entering this really kind of scary moment where people are really mad at this organization, which is a preeminent defender of free speech. And I mean, they did a benefit for the survivors of the Charlie Hebdo massacre in the wake of that. So this is a pretty fearless organization. And I really thought about it. And I thought about the moment that we're in. We were leading up to an election, which could be our last, democratically speaking. And I really wanted to support this organization that supports writers and freedom of expression and fights book bans all over the world. So I said yes, and I wrote a speech that I was very proud of, and then they canceled the event.
So I mean, I guess it's sort of like I feel like there's so much talk about people not being able to say things that they're allowed to say, and then you have an organization devoted to free speech, and then writers are angry at them because they removed somebody for protesting at an event. But
yes, there was a situation in LA where there were people protesting, and then one of them was forcibly removed. I wrote a joke about it in my speech, if you want to.
Yeah, let's hear it.
No, I just tried to cover my bases because I was going into like a hostile environment. So that joke was at the end of the speech. I say, just one quick announcement before we begin. Please keep in mind that heckling at a free speech event is like jerking off at a strip club. They may not stop you from doing it, but it'll be far less awkward for everyone if you just wait until you get home.
That's pretty good. I like it. It worked.
You want to hear another joke?
Yeah. Let's hear another joke from the speech you couldn't
No one's
give.
ever gonna.
No, let's hear one more joke. I like that.
Thank you. For those of you who don't know, PEN is an acronym for poets, essayists, and novelists, but it recently broadened to include poets, playwrights, editors, essayists, and novelists, which means it should actually be pronounced peen. I feel like you might want to lean into that, PEN. People might cut you a little more slack if you started going by your actual acronym, PEEN. Everyone is so critical of PEN, but no one would be hard on PEEN. Unless Hard on PEEN is the title of a book in a Florida library.
Pretty great. What a crush. As you're putting together your segment this week, we couldn't help but notice a Venn diagram between two very loud, very mad groups of people, all of whom stand against wokeness, cancel culture, and keeping your shoes on while sleeping on an airplane. That's right. It's time to play a game we're calling No Participation Trophies, in which you must answer the question, is this quote from a Republican politician currently in office or a working comedian with vast influence and success?
Okay, I'm excited.
That's us, and look at that. No soup for us.
Oh, that's me?
Yeah, I think.
Next to you? Yeah, it is. Wow, that took a minute. Okay. All right.
Yeah. They do a really good job.
They do.
All right. Is this a Republican or a currently touring comedian? You can get some people fired. Like if you decide that you're going to pile on to someone because you don't like what they said or what they did, you can get them fired.
I feel like that was a Republican.
Incorrect. That was Joe Rogan.
So it's like you can get someone fired. Like if you decide that you're going to pile on to someone because you don't like what they said or what they did, you can get them fired.
Really? He used the same word twice in a sentence? It's so like not comedian-like. Fired? I
guess.
Okay, all right, fine.
It's about taking individuality, merit, and achievement and subordinating that to a political agenda based on identity politics. I think it's important that we fight against it because our society does need to be rooted in truth.
He has 5 hours a day to fill, so I feel like, yeah, that tracks. You know?
Well, that was a new quote.
Oh, that was a new quote? I thought that was still Joe Rogan. Okay.
No.
Say it again. I thought that was just like a really long Joe Rogan quote because he has so much time to fill.
He has so much time to fill.
All right, sorry.
I dropped that card, so you just have to guess.
I'm guessing it was a Republican.
It was. It was
Okay.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis talking to a potential voter who asked what he meant by woke.
It's about taking individuality, merit, and achievement and subordinating that to a political agenda based on identity politics. And I think it's important that we fight against that because our society does need to be rooted in truth.
All right, next quote. Americans no longer blindly watch the news like they did decades ago. They only watch the ones who have courage to tell the truth. Americans are about to quit watching.
Republican?
Correct. That was Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeting about Tucker Carlson getting fired.
Okay.
Next up. Ignore them. They don't count. They have no effect on me. They don't count. They're hecklers.
Was that Louis?
That was Ricky Gervais, but it's comedian. You got it.
Okay.
That was about a petition against his most recent Netflix special, Armageddon, over his jokes about Make-A-Wish kids.
Oh, okay.
Ignore them. They don't count. They have no effect on me. They don't count. They're hecklers.
What are you going to start a petition against Ricky Gervais? What's that going to do? Nothing. He's going to love it. You know he's going to love it.
Yeah,
And
it's
don't
going to
sue
help.
that.
It's going to help the special, yeah.
Yeah, petition. The analogy of the evil planet from the movie The Fifth Element is a very good one. If you fire rockets at the evil planet, Planet gets bigger. Rocks don't work. You need Mila Jovovich.
She was great in that.
She was great in that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're all, and that's what this is really about. We will not allow reality, facts, and truth to become optional. We will never surrender to the woke mob.
I guess as a politician.
That was a politician.
We will not allow reality, facts, and truth to become optional. We will never surrender to the woke mob.
I dug really deep into my soul to find the most offensive way of saying things, the things I want to say, because I think it's very important that we try to preserve free speech in America.
I guess a comedian.
Yes, that was Roseanne. While promoting her most recent special, Cancel This. Did you meet her?
I never met her.
You never met her?
She had seen a set of mine that I did on Conan, and she hired me off of that. And then I do believe that, like, you know, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And so I did want to, like, sit in that writer's room in, like, 2017 Trump era and write for her. And it just didn't happen. But
Yeah, it's interesting to think because that reboot was in the works before Trump.
yeah, I think it would have been a really cool show in that time to have a family that is at political odds, you know, still existing as a family. I think that would have been really helpful and hopeful for people to watch.
Yeah. It's interesting because if James Comey doesn't send a letter, Hillary Clinton wins. That show still proceeds.
Yeah.
And then there's just a Roseanne
I'm glad
reboot.
that you, like, brought up Comey. You know what I mean? I feel like
People don't talk about him enough
people
because
don't
he's
talk
so
about him
tall.
enough.
What's he doing? Seeing plays and stuff, I bet.
Suffs or whatever it's called.
He's seeing Suffs. I bet he's not seeing Suffs because Hillary Clinton produced Suffs.
Oh, right.
So now he
What if
feels
he is
he's gotta-
seeing it?
What is he going to do?
What if
Put on
he's seeing
put
it
on
with a
hat?
mask, a
You
hat
can't.
on?
He's so annoying. God, you go to see fucking Suffs. Hillary Clinton's produced Broadway musical.
Yeah.
You sit down. There's a big fucking tall oaf in front of you. You can barely see around.
Yeah, what if
Turns
he
around, it's James Comey with a fake mustache to sneak in.
Yeah, and then like a monocle or something.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
So the book's in paperback.
Yeah, it got paperback. It got in there.
Do you think that
The vibe is interesting tonight. Has it been
no,
commented
it's a
on?
late show. It's a late show,
is.
and they're doing
It's-
great.
You know what it is? It's because we can see everyone's faces. I think that when you can see, it's like there's like too much vulnerability in the air. You know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I agree.
Just yell up.
No. I've told you to stop talking, Lalo.
You want to use my heckle joke that I told?
Yeah, I liked it. Thought it was good. Jenna Friedman, everybody.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah.